What's up, y'all? It's your homegirl Trey Monet, and today we're going to be doing a story time about my labor and delivery during the pandemic. So first and foremost, I got pregnant in October of when was that? October of 2019. Yes, October of 2019. Yeah, that's it. Wait, was it? Yeah, 2019, because 2020 came and then that's when everything happened, pretty much. Okay, yeah, so it was 2019 because I was 29, right? No, it was 2020. What the hell are we in right now? 2021? It's almost 2022. So yeah, it was October. That's when I found out. In 2019, I was 29 and it was getting ready to be 2020, which was the year. Right? The year. Yeah, so it was 2019. So it was October. So boom, I found that I was pregnant before there was even a pandemic thought of, right? Okay, so fast forward to January. Kobe Bryant passed away. That was like the first thing that happened during my pregnancy that really had me kind of like down, like really down. So you know, we worked through that. Rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. No, I did not know him personally, but I knew him personally. Okay, period. So yeah, so then January came, that happened. So then it was like, I guess everything started around February and March, and it was kind of like nobody knew what was going on. It was like, what the heck is happening? I'm pregnant, and all of a sudden the fun was just taken away from my pregnancy altogether. People were dying. I couldn't leave the house. You have this worry, like, if I catch it, like, is anything gonna happen to my baby, to me, my family? I'm seeing other people's families going through death, and everybody's just stuck in the house, like things of that sort. It was a lot. I'm thinking, I got pregnant, this is about to be fun. I'm about to be outside doing photo shoots. I don't know, anything, any and everything that I thought my pregnancy would be, it was not. Okay, so period, moving. So I had this baby shower plan. Didn't happen. I ended up having to do a baby shower at my mom's house, which I'm very grateful of, obviously, of course, but it wasn't my dream baby shower. And of course, at that time, everybody was still kind of afraid to get out the house, which was perfectly understandable and completely understandable. So that happened. I'm just like bringing y'all back to how we got to the laboring part, because I got pregnant before the pandemic like even like really like sprouted. But I think I was like, what, 3 to 4 months when the pandemic came about. So of course, during my pregnancy, I wasn't able to, I think Robert, which is my son's father, my boyfriend, he was only able to come to one doctor's appointment, if I remember. Yeah, it was just one. He was only able to come to one doctor's appointment, and all of those after that I had to attend by myself, which was very nerve-wracking and kind of sad, because I envisioned having, you know, like someone by my side to assist me with questions. I don't know if I forgot, because this was my first time and I didn't know everything to ask, right? And I wasn't even able to have my mom there either, obviously, because she's been through it before, to ask certain questions. But anyway, I had to go through that by myself. Went through that, and then July comes, and now the pressure's on. I had known, I believe it was like I would say I knew right away once the pandemic started, after hearing other mothers talk about they're not able to have either their mom in the room, which is a support person, along with the father of the baby, was not able to be in the room, or no one was able to be in the room at all. So once like that like really started to get into my head, like either A, my mom's not gonna be able to be there, or B, even Robert's not gonna be able to be in the room, like I just started to panic, and I became like real depressed during the end of my pregnancy, when I knew it was like really coming on that I could be doing this by myself, which is something I've never ever dreamed of, right? So July came, and it was like, okay, like this is really bad to happen. His due date was July, his original due date was July 24th, 2020. I'll never forget that date, because to me it represented Kobe Bryant, the 24. So his original due date was July 24th, 2020. So around that time, it was like I'm not dilating, like I was eating certain things that they said would assist you with inducing your labor. I was bouncing on that medicine ball for dear life. I was doing all sorts of things to try and, you know, get the ball rolling. Nothing was working. So I went to one of my last doctor's appointments, and at that doctor's appointment my blood pressure was sort of high, and I wasn't feeling him moving as much as I was. So of course they hook you up on the thing and monitor the baby. I think I had to sit back there for like an hour, so I did that. And so once they realized, okay, the baby's fine, then my doctor just straight up asked me like, hey, like I think, or are we thinking induction here? Like at that time I was 41 weeks, by the way. So I had surpassed 39 weeks and I was 41 weeks. And I was tired. Like I was tired. Nothing was working. He just wasn't trying to come out. So and my blood pressure was high, and it was going up and down, which was not good as well. So we made the decision to go ahead and set an induction date. Yeah, to set a date. So that happened, and once I knew that I had a date in my mind, okay, shit got real, right? I got everything ready. I was very well prepared. I had everything set up at home, and then I get a phone call, right? I get a phone call the day before my scheduled date to go in the hospital to be induced started. It was a nurse telling me, hey, by the way, Miss Nelson, the rules changed, and you are able to have one supportive person in the room with you along with dad. So y'all, I went crazy. Like I was so happy. I called my mama ASAP, told her, hey, get whatever you need to get. You're gonna be in the room with me. You can be in the room with me. I guess at that time the cases had started slowing down a little bit, and so they were making an exception for the hospital that I went to. They were making an exception for mothers to be able to be in the room with their daughters if that's what they wanted, right? So, and mind you, just to backtrack a little bit, I had originally wanted a doula as well with me. But once I realized that the doula would only be able to be over the phone or on FaceTime with me, I don't know, it was just something in me like, okay, well, I really would want this person in the room with me, but they'll only be able to be on FaceTime. So it's just something I chose not to do. But with my story, I definitely should have had one, and that's just keeping it real, and I didn't. So going forward, told my mom, she went crazy, she went nuts as well. Like, yeah, she was so excited. So boom, the next day came, me and Robert woke up, we went to breakfast, and just kind of like, you know, was enjoying just the two of us until I was becoming a mom, right? So that happened. We went to the hospital. No, he's gonna let mommy finish. So anyway, where was I at? So my mom had met us at the hospital to say a quick prayer. It's just something that I do when something real big is about to happen. Typically it would have been my entire family, but it was pouring raining, like pouring raining cats and dogs. So the hospital that I was is not too far from my grandmother and my dad. So like I could feel their spirit like right there, like they were praying for me too. But my mom was there because she was coming to the hospital with us, right? Well, it was how they said it was, dad had to come first in with me. No, I had to go up to the room first by myself. No, that's not what happened either. Dad was able to come all the way upstairs with me, but my mom couldn't come until a certain time, and I believe it was 1 o'clock that my mom could come. So dad and I go upstairs. We're checking in. Boom. They tell me, yeah, Miss Nelson, so I know I called you last night. It was me you talked to, and I know I told you that your mom could come with you, but yeah, I'm so sorry. That has changed. The rules literally changed this morning at, I think it was like 10 or 11 o'clock. Y'all, my heart dropped. Mind you, my mom and I have a very, very close relationship, right? Like I don't make big decisions without my mom. It's just a lot of things, like, and you know, it's my first baby. I wanted my mother there, and I understand that a lot of people don't get that opportunity to have their mother there, you know, for multiple different reasons. And I was glad that my mom was still here on earth to share this experience. It's her first grandchild as well as it's my first child, and I wanted her there. I needed her there. And daddy, y'all, I love my daddy, but daddy, you know that this is a woman thing, and I would have wanted my dad, you know, in the hospital room supporting as well. But you know, that mom touch, it's nothing like it. And I'm very blessed to still be able to have that, right? So yes, baby. So yeah, so they told me my mom would no longer be able to come. So instantly my heart dropped, and I know Robert could see the look on my face, like I was getting ready to panic. But on the inside I was like, who mama can't come? Yes, my mama can come, because that's what y'all told me. So that's what we going by. No, like my mom is downstairs. She probably didn't even go back home. She probably just sitting there waiting till 1 o'clock. Like, no, my mama is coming, right? But that's what I was saying on the inside. But the outside of me literally was just like melting. Yes, baby. So yeah, so the outside of me literally was like, I was losing it. Like, I was losing it. And Robert was kind of trying to go toe-to-toe with the nurse and the staff. And I'm kind of like, hey, like, I thank you, babe, for, you know, trying to hold my back. But these people's about to be taking care of me. Like, I don't want no mishaps. Like, I know it's okay. Like, you know, there's nothing we can do. Like, we can argue from here to there, but it's not gonna change. This is their rule. It's a hospital rule now. They just change it to where my mom cannot be here, and I don't want to argue with these people. So that was that. He calmed down, but I had not calmed down yet at all. So now I'm starting to feel it on the inside now that, like, what, like, who mama can't come, like, that was gone. I literally was like losing it on the inside now too. So we get into the room, and the lady's like, okay, I think Robert had to go somewhere. While he didn't have to have a COVID test, he just had to have his mask on at all times, but I actually had to get a COVID test. And mind you, this was still like a brand new kind of thing, and I don't know if everybody was trained on how to stick that thing down people's nose, But this lady know what she was doing, and I know she knows what she's doing because my sister had got a COVID test like later on down the road for what she needed to get one for, and she said it didn't hurt at all. Y'all, this lady stuck this swab so far down my nose, I felt like it touched my soul. Like, my whole entire soul just cried out. So I just started screaming and crying. Like, that hurt so bad. And I'm not no little punk when it comes to pain. Like, I'm not. But that was something I've never felt in my life. It hurt so bad. So that happened. Thank God. My COVID test came back negative. Okay. So Robert was able to come back in the room with me. And we're, yes, my love. Here, baby. Give mommy phone. Look at my phone. Look at my phone. So, yeah. Y'all, he was supposed to be taking a nap while I was doing this, and of course he woke up. So anyways, so yes, my baby. So yeah, so I'm in, after my COVID test done is whatnot, we are now, I'm getting like prepared, I'm getting ready. And at this time, like, I believe the nurse like offered me some water and stuff like that. I couldn't drink no water. Like, all I was thinking about was my mom is literally not gonna be here. I had been prepared, but once somebody calls and tells you no, that's changed, she can be there now, and to then being told, okay, no, she can't, like, that was a lot. That was a lot on me. That was a lot, and that's all I could think about was my mom is not here. Like, what the heck? So so yeah, I didn't drink any water. I had become dehydrated, and I didn't want anything to eat. I didn't eat anything. I still, at this time, I wasn't feeling any contractions or anything like that because I was there to be induced. So, you know, you get dressed, you're in a hospital bed, it's just Robert and I. So then the nurses start coming in, they hook my IV up, and I noticed right away, I've never been hooked up to an IV at all, so I didn't know what to expect. But I did know that something about this one, it didn't feel right. But then in my mind, I'm like, but what do you know? I've never experienced this, so maybe this is how it's supposed to feel. So it's in my it was in this hand right here, so it's in there, we're chilling. So then the nurses come in, and like, they're of course like, we're ready to get this show on the road. Okay, great. So I believe the first thing they did for me was, oh God, I believe it was the clamps thing. Yeah, it had to be. They started me on the Pitocin, of course. That was the first object they used, but they started me on the Pitocin, and I wasn't feeling anything. Like, I was still feeling like normal as far as pain wise, but still just kind of like down. But I wasn't feeling anything pain wise, so, and nothing was moving. I wasn't dilating, nothing was happening, right? So I believe it was the first nurse came and checked me, and I was still, nothing was happening. My cervix wasn't thinning, like nothing. So then I believe the first object they used on me, and this was over a course of, I believe, 2.5 to 3 days. They stuck the clamps in me to try to, like, I don't know what it was, but I know it was so freaking painful that I literally was just crying to Robert, because he was holding me, and I'm like, dude, like, are they almost done? No, yeah, they stuck the clamps in me to stick the I believe it was a balloon. I don't remember what it was, but I believe it was a balloon. Anyways, that didn't work. Nothing that they did worked. My body just was not reacting, right? It just wasn't. And I had all these different things to try to assist me with dilating, and nothing was happening. So they upped my Pitocin, baby. When they upped my Pitocin, them contractions felt like lightning hell. Like hell. Oh my God, it felt like hell. So that was happening. I'm starting to feel the contractions. My mom is on FaceTime, by the way. My mom and my sister actually is on FaceTime, by the way. My dad call in and check on me, but my mom was on FaceTime, and like I was like, ooh baby, like I feel them, like these contractions I feel. So long story short with that, I ended up not dilating past, I believe it was a 4. I didn't dilate past 4, and they tried all these different I mean painful too, all these different things to me to try to assist, and nothing was working. So I ended up having, because they, you know, was up in the Pitocin, I couldn't take that no more. So I had to get an epidural. Like I could not take that. The pain, I couldn't take it anymore. So I got the epidural. When I tell you, the epidural was the best part of my whole entire labor and delivery. I felt nothing. Nothing. I didn't feel anything. I didn't have any complications from that, thank God. I felt nothing, and I was able to relax as far as the contractions, but it was the other stuff that was happening to my body that was still very painful, to try to get dilated. So at this time, this is like day 3, I believe, in my body. Like I'm worn out. Like I don't have no more in me to give. Like I'm worn out. So Robert is just like, I'm not understanding why at this point they're not doing a C-section. Like what the heck? And that word, anytime he would say that word, I would get upset, even though in my mind I knew that that's probably what's getting ready to happen to you. But to hear him keep saying it, it was kind of pissing me off, because I feel like, no, my body can do it. Like, what are you talking about? My body can do it. I'm going to do this naturally. I'm going to do it. And he's just like, Trey, like, I hear you, I understand what you're saying, but this is not normal. Like, this is not normal. They're doing too much to you. Like, physically, like, he was like, I don't understand. Like, it's too much. So at this point, the baby's heartbeat was kind of going up and down. Like, at this point, it was kind of getting like, okay, enough is enough. I can't take anymore. I don't want to take anymore. Like, what are we doing here? So, the morning, I remember that night they said, okay, we're going to go through the night, and then we're going to contact your doctor in the morning, you know, to go ahead and move forward with the C-section. So I'm literally like, oh my God, like what? Like I came here thinking that I was gonna have a vaginal birth, a normal birth, and now I'm about to have to have a C-section. Like I couldn't believe it. Like at that time, I really did feel like my body failed. Like you feel like a failure. You're not a failure, but yes, you feel like that, because it's like, why can't I do this naturally? Like why? So the next morning comes, and I believe it was like 9, it was 7, 8 in the morning. I'm up. I didn't get any sleep. I knew I was about to have a C-section in the morning. Like, what sleep am I going to get? So that morning comes. I think that's when we told my mom that morning. So she's on FaceTime, and they go ahead and schedule the time and stuff for the C-section. I had already had an epidural, so I didn't have to get one of those to prepare for the C-section, because I already had it. So they just needed to pump the medicine through or whatever. So that happened, and I signed the papers, you know, do everything that you need to do to get prepared for that. So I remember, y'all, I remember laying there, like everything wrong that could go wrong has went wrong, like completely wrong. So in that mind, at that time in my mind, I was like, this is it. Like there is no way that anything good is getting ready to happen. Like I didn't feel it. I felt like I was a guinea pig. I felt like I failed. I felt like I'm not able to have a baby. Like it's just not. I lost faith, y'all. Like, and I'm gonna just be honest. Like just be honest, like I lost faith. I did not think that anything good was gonna come for this. Like I remember on FaceTime, Robert was telling my mom that I was going to get a C-section, and she knew immediately. Oh my God, she knows me, so she knows that I'm like on a different level now. Like she knows that, right? So so I knew that she didn't want to show her fear and concern because she knew what it would do to me, right? So I'm laying there. She knows now that I'm getting ready to have a C-section, and she's, you know, Trey, you're gonna be fine, all this, all that. But I'm not listening because I didn't believe it. I did not believe that. I did not believe that I was going to be fine. I didn't believe that we were going to be fine, my child and I just didn't believe it. I did not make eye contact with my mom. I didn't look at her. I didn't say nothing. It was, you know, just the tears welling up like, I'm not going to be okay. And that's how I felt. I really felt like I wasn't going to be okay. So, I remember after that, you know, it was time. It was time. Robert was getting dressed in the garment that he needed to wear. And so, we were willing out. I know that my mom was praying for me. I know that my father was praying for me. I know my grandma was praying for me. I know that my entire family was praying for me, and I needed that because guess what? I didn't even pray for myself. I didn't say a prayer. I didn't believe. I couldn't, and I still to this day, like when I think about it, like I cannot believe that I couldn't even pray for myself, y'all. Like I couldn't. And I thank God every day that I have a praying mother, I have a praying father, and a praying grandmother, grandmothers, that, and a sister, because I know my sister was praying for me as well, because she knows when I heard that word C-section, she knows, my whole family knows how I am. And I'm being, you know, wheeled back or whatever to the room. Still, I haven't said anything to my mom. I'm on FaceTime. I'm not talking. Robert is kind of like sneaking, having the phone on FaceTime at this point. But I didn't know anything. I kind of like blacked out and just was going through the motions of being wheeled back there. So we get back there. Of course, they give you the medicine. My body just went limp, numb, whatever, and I'm laying there. I do remember this. I'm just laying there, and Robert, he's looking at me, Trey, you're gonna be fine, you're gonna be fine. And I'm like, okay, when are they gonna get started? And he was kind of like, babe, like they've already cut you open, like they're getting ready to pull the baby out. So I was like, really? So I could, at that point, of course you can't feel pain from being cut, you can't feel that, but you can feel the pulling and tugging. So I feel that. I feel the pulling and tugging, and they finally got the baby out, and I was like, okay. So then they like kind of held him up a little bit, and I don't know. I have been watching labor and delivery videos, so I kind of knew how this process could work. And mine didn't happen like that, so I'm like, okay. So they lifted him up, and like I could see him. Then they very quickly brought him, I guess, back down or to them. And so I'm just kind of like, you know, a little lucid, but I can see what's happening. So yes, baby, here. So yes, my love. Thank you. Yeah. Here. So yeah, sorry y'all. So I was a little lucid, but I still could like feel what was happening as far as like people's movements and stuff. And so Robert went over to the, I think it was like where this was all blurred to me, where they kind of like weigh you or all that stuff over there out to the side. So I'm looking over and I'm like, oh, that's my baby. Like I can see him, but Robert's not talking. He's not, I don't know, he just wasn't acting like I thought he would act if we just had a baby, you know? So I'm looking over and I'm like, I see like this kind of panic in everybody's eyes, and even his eyes as well. In his eyes as well. Hold on, y'all. So I see this panic in like his eyes and everybody's eyes, and I'm like, hey, no, is he okay? Like, what's happening? And he kind of looked at me and he was like, yeah. And I'm like, what the heck? And then at this time, I'm just kind of like fading. I don't remember nothing after that. Apparently, Robert let me know the baby was rushed to the NICU because he was only breathing 10% on his own. And this was after I had woke up. So before we got there, they took him, I guess, and took me. I went back to the room, and I remember feeling like this rush of like fire that shot through my body. And I just remember screaming, waking up and screaming, saying, like just screaming, like, I can feel this, I can feel this. So apparently they had forgot to put the whatever pain medication in my my IV. So when the other stuff, I guess, wore off, the anesthesia or whatever they put in me for my C-section had wore off, I could feel it. Like, I could feel the pain. And so they immediately put that in my IV, and then that slowly went away. Well, fast actually. So from that point, I ended up coming back to the room, and I was like, is everything okay? Mind y'all, I just had a baby, and there's no baby right here by me. So I'm kind of like, is everything okay? He's just like, yeah, he's down in the NICU. They're trying to, you know, get his breathing, get him suctioned out and all that. I'm just like, okay. But I'm in so much pain. Like, I don't know, like, I can't explain the type of pain that I was in from the C-section. Like, that it was just kind of like, okay, okay, so what's next? So, you know, only Robert could go. You drive applications. My blood pressure was really high after the C-section, so I could not go down there and see him at all. So the entire night I was in the recovery room. They eventually moved me to the recovery room, and that night, I don't know if they're supposed to tell you that you may experience chills, so just be aware. And I woke up in the middle of the night where it was like my body was just shaking and I was so cold. So Robert ran and got the nurse, and they came in, and she just let me know, you know, that's normal, and it'll go away, which it did. But I just would have wished I was, you know, known that, because I thought something was happening to me. So that night came. The next morning I had got up, kind of cleaned up. Robert had to help me, you know, with trying to clean up and get dressed or put comfortable clothes on or whatever, so I could go down and see him, because he still wasn't ready to come up to our room yet. So we get down there, and they're like, oh, we're actually preparing for baby boy to come upstairs, so if you want, you can just go back upstairs. And I'm just like, crap, I wish I would have known that. So I wouldn't have, like, I had to be, it was a lot for me to get down to the room, but I was determined to do it because I wanted to see my baby. But anyways, he ended up coming up. And I was so happy, my first time actually being able to hold him. That was my first time that I was able to actually hold him, and that was my labor and delivery story. Of course, we had to stay additional days in the hospital, and, you know, adjusting to mommyhood after being cut open and having a C-section was definitely a task. But he will be 16 months in on the 1st of December. His birthday had ended up being August 1st, 2020. And to me, that still had a significance because of the number 8 in Kobe Bryant. So that was my labor and he's mad, y'all. His car is stuck. That's my labor and delivery story, and literally how everything happened during a pandemic. As a first-time mom, that was my experience with my first child. So I hope you guys enjoyed my story time. It was my first time really telling it just like outright start to finish. Like, my family knows, but it was my first time like me actually like just like telling it. And I feel like this was pretty cool too, because I was able to release some of these emotions that I've just kind of, you know, still been holding on to. It was a very traumatic experience for me, and I'm just glad that I'm able to share it with you guys. So that was my labor and delivery story time video during a pandemic. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll talk to y'all later.